You're watching SportsFource Extra on KTIV.
Welcome back, folks. Well, hey, we've seen some high school hoops, but that weather today, it was a little warmer than the last couple of days. Had me dreaming of some warmer days in softball, Irv.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. And just so you know, we on Signal Hill like to spread the love to every single sport in Siouxland. Even when there's snow on the ground, it doesn't mean the softball teams quit playing. In fact, there's a great American State Bank complex up in Sioux Center where the GPAC teams, well, they were in action today, Jason. So we'll start with 11th-ranked Northwestern battling Valley City State. The Red Raiders waste no time building their lead. Top of the first, Gwen Mickelson. She flies out, but that allows Ashton Billings to tag up and slide in for the score from third. Still in the top of the first here, Tatum Schmalbeck. She smacks the double into the gap. That's going to go ahead and bring in Sydney Jacobs. That makes it 2-0 in the first. Now, Valley City State, they get up to bat in the bottom of the first. And this one's cranked high and far by Logan Gronberg. The umpires rule that it hit the top of the American State Bank complex on its way out, so it's a home run. But Northwestern, they would get up to bat in the top of the second, and they would get back to stacking runs on the scoreboard. Billings chops this one to short. She will be out, but Maddie Vitek, she scores. That makes it 3-1. But the Red Raiders roll in this one 13-6.
Hey, I caught a game out at the Dome today, too, Irv. Host School Dordt Defenders in a Donnybrook with Minnesota Crookston here, folks. We'll pick things up. Second inning, Golden Eagles threading one out. But this line drive snagged at third by Ashton Grissom, who fires to first. The defenders double him up to get out of the inning. Defenders with runners on the corners, one down, but deja vu. Whitney Curry makes the grab at short. Golden Eagles get two to tightrope walk their way out of the jam. They lead 1-0. Top six, Brooklyn Cox sends a hard hit ball into center field. That scores Brooke Rule. And we're tied up at 1. But the bases are loaded in the bottom of the sixth. We've got a ground ball to short while the defenders get the out at second. Damage is done. Minnesota Crookston takes a 3-1 lead into the seventh. Top seven, defenders tying, run on third, 2 outs. Peyton Whipple gets underneath this one. Madison Yandel ranges over. She'll squeeze it for the final out. Golden Eagles get the win 3-2. Irv?
Yeah, Jason had to leave Sioux Center to get down for some tennis, but I stayed. We caught Briarcliff looking for their first win of the season as they take on Dakota State. Now, Dakota State starting this one off strong, though. Quincy Hartley hammers this RBI into center field. That will bring in Hannah McFarland. That makes it 1-0. The Trojans, they lay down a quick bunt here. And a quick reaction from the Chargers. Infield leads to that batter getting thrown out, but they can't complete the double play at home as Hartley slides in to make it 2-0. Briarcliff, they come up with a flurry of runs in the fifth, one of them coming off of this hit from Kylie Wilhelms. That's going to go ahead and score Karina Couples, but it would be Dakota State denying the Chargers their first win of the season. 6-5 is the final in that one. And Mount Marty looking to end a 3-game skid as they take on Minnesota Crookston. They trail 1-0, and Minnesota Crookston is looking for an extra base hit here, but a great diving catch by Ella Ray right there will keep them at bay. Now, we saw some great fielding right there, and it continues to play a role in this one. The Golden Eagles slap that one. It can't get through as the Golden Glove grabs that one right there. But the offense would come alive here as the game wore on. Alyssa Soski, she gets the ground out, but in comes an RBI. Jaden Simpkins from third right there. We're all tied at 1. Townsend at the plate here. She sends this straight to the third baseman, but the throw, nowhere near its mark. That's going to allow the runner from third to come home. That'd make it 2-1, and that would be your final in this game as Mount Marty defeats Minnesota Crookston 2-1. And Jason, while we had plenty of action on the softball diamond, we also had some action in the pool.
Yeah, that's right. We opened up with the IHSA Boys State Swim Meet with the preliminary rounds. Let's just see how our representatives from Siouxland did. Got to give a shout out to a few of the Sioux City Spartans here, folks. The Spartans had a solid showing in the prelims. Carson Hope finished in the top 8 of 2 races. And Max Asif reaching the top 8 in the 100-meter breaststroke. Micah Vandevate and Britton Asoff would also make the top 15 in the prelims. Championship races begin tomorrow around noon. You can catch the action live on KTIV.com or the News 4 Now app.